Hi guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're going to be discussing whether you should start playing Diablo 4 on Tier 1 or on Tier 2. Now, why are we even talking about this? Well, the general consensus on the internet is Tier 2 is not worth it. Basically, its benefits do not outweigh its negatives, the benefits being more gold and more XP, the negatives being you take more damage and you deal less damage. So today we're going to find out if that's true. So let's quickly go over the differences between Tier 1 and Tier 2. So according to Blizzard, World Tier 1 is players who are new to Diablo, who want a light challenge, level range is 1 to 50, and enemies are easy to defeat. Now for World Tier 2, players who desire more of a challenge, levels 1 to 50 again, enemies are more challenging, i.e. you deal less damage, you take more damage. Monsters give 20% increased experience, and monsters drop 15% more gold. So they're the differences between World Tier 1 and World Tier 2. So how are we going to do this? Well, basically what I've done is 2 runs. One on Tier 1 and one on Tier 2. Starting the story off, so we're going in blind, Act 1. The class I picked is Sorceress because the Sorceress is OP. Each run is going to last 30 minutes and we're going to see where they end. We're going to see what drops they get, and we're going to see what level they get and how long it took the first boss. How it's going to work is I'm going to do the Tier 1 run, then I'm going to take a break and play a different game, and then I'm going to go into the Tier 2 run. Also for the Sorcerer build, it's going to be exactly the same. So here's the build on screen right now. I sourced it from this site, links in the video description if you want to go build something similar. And that's it. Full disclosure, I forgot to set timers, so basically I play for about 31 minutes on each. And in post I saw when the 30-minute mark was up, and then that's when I stopped and took a screenshot for each run to see where they got. And I tried to play both runs very similar, but that didn't kind of work out, so each run is slightly different and I'll bring it up when we discuss the runs. Also, for some reason during the first run, some of the cutscenes I couldn't skip. Basically after the first boss and before you meet the hermit, all the cutscenes there I couldn't skip, so I had to do the exact same for the second run, which meant there was a lot of downtime where it was just purely cutscenes. Also to note, the sample size is very small. I mean, there's one run for Tier 1 and there's one run for Tier 2. Also to note that I have been playing this game and it's on my account, so a lot of the Lilith statues are also going to affect these runs. Now I didn't do any gaming on Diablo 4 in between the runs to that's going to affect it. Either one run isn't going to have more AP or more intelligence than the other. But also we need to talk about the RNG factor because there's a lot of random number generation in this game, so even though we're going to get into the results, just take this with a pinch of salt, really. Okay, let's kick off with the Tier 1 run. And when I was creating my character, it kind of looked like Lara Croft, so I just tried to call it Lara Run. It turns out Diablo doesn't like numbers, so instead of Lara Run, it's Lara Basic. And at the start, I forgot where my skills were, because I don't normally play Sorceress. I've been playing Necromancy and Rogue, so I was spending a lot of time on this run going, oh, where's that skill? Where's that skill? Where's that skill? Also, during the run, someone wanted help with their game, and during the cutscenes, I was sort of like, no, I'm in the middle of recording something, so I can't really help out. Spent most of my time one-shotting the enemies, and I ended up going into the cellar right after you beat the first boss and after you get rescued by the monk. I didn't do this in the second run, and this is where we ended up. I'm not going to talk about the boss right now because I'm going to save it for the end, but oh boy. So let's talk about the Tier 2 run. Now, overall, this went a lot smoother because obviously I knew where the skills were. I had just done them like 40 minutes ago, so it's still slightly fresh in my memory. One thing to note was in the first dungeon, the first elite that you normally find, that's a skeleton, was a lot further back than it was in the for the Tier 1. So I ended up killing a lot more enemies in the first dungeon on Tier 2 than I did on Tier 1. Overall, still smooth. Everything was fine, except for the teleports were a bit hit or miss. Sometimes I've only moved slightly forward. But then again, I did find a shrine that boosted my speed a little bit, so I was able to run forward. And then the boss fight, well, let's just say it was a a bit more challenging than it was on tier 1. And now we get to the results. So, on screen, the tier 1 run, I got 10 common items, 1 from a quest. I got 8 magic items, 2 from a quest, and 1 rare item which I got from a quest reward. Now in the tier 2 run, I got 11 common items, 1 from the quest, 8 magic items again, but 3 of them were from the quest and 0 rares. So it turns out the reward for the Knight and the Magpie quest differed. So on tier 1 I got a rare reward, and on tier 2 I only got a magic reward. Interesting. Boss kills. So on tier 1 it took me 40 seconds and 28 frames. Tier 2 it took me 1 minute and 14 seconds and 15 frames. So that's about a difference of 34 seconds or 33 seconds and 13 frames. That's gonna add up throughout the whole entire game. Here's where it gets interesting. The gold drop from this boss, the bonus gold, not from just getting the reward, the bonus gold from the boss, tier 1 was 38, tier 2 was 39. At the end of the half an hour run, tier 1 I ended with a level 7 with 1 bar full and the second bar almost full. And on tier 2 I ended up being level 7 with 3 full bars. And the end location was pretty much the same. It was undertaking after Naira opened the door and you're just going through all the falling debris. So in conclusion, I can say there's kind of no point to tier 2. The drops were pretty much on par, but then tier 1 managed to get a rare drop from a quest, and tier 2 only got magic drops. They got a lot more common items, but by 1, it's like, that's negligible. The boss time is where it's really interesting. 34 seconds longer fighting a boss. I mean, you're going to be able to get through most of the game at that point. Like, yeah, you can get more XP on tier 2, but it was like a bar and a little bit extra. Not to mention the fact that I could probably have gotten further in the game. The enemies are easier to kill. I'm one-shotting most stuff with just my chain lightning, whereas in tier 2 it's 2 shots of a chain lightning. And yeah, I think the fact that I spent more time doodling around on tier 1 than I did on tier 2 kind of proves that you can get further into the game and faster, and I guess maybe you could be leveling up faster, but enemies and bosses scale with you, so your extra level is going to be negligible when you're fighting a boss. Like, yeah, I got some extra skills, but you're also taking a lot more damage, and that's the thing, I guess, where everyone's coming at. It's really negligible, the benefits of tier 2. In all honesty, if you're just playing to have fun and you want to be as quick and as efficient as possible, then yeah, tier 1. If you want a challenge, go for tier 2, but you're not going to be getting any faster or better gear by playing tier 2, unfortunately. It seems like it's just like, hey, play this game slightly harder. And it is slightly harder, stuff takes longer to kill, but that's it. So yeah, I guess, guys, just play Diablo 1 on tier 1. If you want a challenge, play it on tier 2, but note that you're not getting any real benefit from it. I guess apart from the fact that it's taking stuff longer to kill and you have to spend more time dodging and learning movement and patterns, so hey, you'll become a better Diablo player, I guess. I mean, if you want to do something like that, just play hardcore and really sweat it out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments section down below. I'm just as surprised that they're both tit for tat, and yeah, just play on tier 1, I guess. Goodbye.
Morse. Marvelous. Together on the track. Let's go. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, red sus. Red sus, sus.